Hello, you lovely, lovely people. Welcome to a rainy day, actually. Anyway, being scammed. Like, until you've been scammed, you don't really know how it works in here where I am, because they are so bloody clever at what they do. And often, there is more than one of the people involved. Now, people might be saying, well, why live in the Philippines if this is the case, if, scamming is a common thing and, families taking money off you is a common thing? Well, it's only a common thing if you let it happen. And we normally don't let it happen knowingly. It just happens because, generally speaking, when you get scammed in the Philippines, like I was, it normally happens when you first come here. So it generally happens when you first meet the woman of your dreams, let's just say that, online. And, you've been talking for quite some time. And you think, well, this is a good girl. She's always asking how I am. And one of the first things they say is, have you eaten? What have you eaten? How are you? And calls and messages just come thick and fast all the time. So that automatically makes you think that, oh, this is a good girl. She really cares about me. And she might do, but some don't. Now, when I was scammed out of the house, okay, and the furniture and all of the electrical appliances that we bought, or I bought, and not only being scammed out of that, but after knowing that her husband was involved with it, because she told me she was separated. She had 2 children, which I knew about that, but she said that she was separated for a number of years. And of course she did. Why wouldn't you believe it? This is what I mean, because she's green. You are green when you first come to the Philippines, and because you are on that high, you tend to follow the leader. And the leader is the person who you are with, because you've just left your country and you've come to the Philippines. So it's very easy to be scammed. And like I said, it's not always just one person involved. There are several people sometimes, and they are very damn good at what they do. I was parted with my money, yes, because I was a fool. I admit that, and many of you people have said, it takes balls, to admit that I was wrong, and I was wrong. I can't blame anybody else, and it takes balls to admit it, and it takes balls to talk about it. Now, I'm making this video because you want me to. Many of the comments want me to, because many people talk good of the Philippines, and it is a good place. It is a good place once you find your footing, and once you know how it works, or once you kind of know how it works, you've got a better understanding of it. But until you get that better understanding of it, the chances of you getting scammed is quite high. And it's not just about houses. It can be about land. Many foreigners are scammed with land. Many Filipinos are scammed with land. So, and even many Filipinos are scammed by Filipinos. But with my case, I just walked straight into it. And I parted with a lot of money. So, what you have to imagine is, some of these Filipinos, they've done it time and time again before you. And you don't know this. I didn't know it. I found out afterwards that what happened to me by the girl that scammed me, it happened to a couple of foreigners as well before me. Okay. And because they are so loving and caring, as you think, you'd think, no, butter wouldn't melt in this girl's mouth. And you think that it's impossible for this person to do it to me. Well, they do. Not all. I don't know. It's probably a very, very small percentage. But gathering by the comments that I get, it's happened to a lot of you guys as well. And not just here. Some Filipinas that are living abroad with their husbands or working, their families also try and scam them, send money back for hospitals, fees and things like that. And in reality, you're sending money back, but it's not going to where they say it's going elsewhere. Probably gambling, alcohol, and just wasteful. And all the time we're doing this, or all the time I was doing it, I didn't think that I was being scammed. I thought we bought the house, we built the shop, we bought all the furniture, and I thought that I was going to be set up. I was set up. I was set up for a fall. But rather than me hang around after I was getting these nasty feelings of being scammed, I just picked up and went. Now, knowing as well what I know now, what Filipinos can do to you to get you arrested, I was very lucky. I was lucky to get away when I did and how I did, because many of these Filipinos know what they can do to you. They know what they can do. They can make your life hell if they wished. Now, I think the one that I was with when I first came here, she was probably satisfied with what she got, because I didn't contest it. I just simply packed a suitcase and vanished in the night like a ninja. Changed my SIM card and things like that so she couldn't contact me. But I found out afterwards that she was doing it to another person as well, to another foreigner. And I've since learned she's doing it to another one, because I mix with Filipinos here, and these Filipinos know that side of that family, and they were telling me, I said, look, I don't want to know what's going on. It doesn't concern me no more. I've lost what I've lost. I just want to move on. So yes, I appreciate you wanting to keep me informed of what's going on, but it's of no concern of mine. And now they don't. But it's very easy, people. And like I've said as well, it might not be that Filipina that's in on it. It could be other people, like it was with her. Her friends were in on it as well. I later found out her friends were in on it. And her husband, who she said she was well separated a long time ago, he was in on it. He was in on the scam. And, you can take it to heart, and then you can get that, as you say, why don't you get the hell out of Dodge? Well, I did get the hell out of that Dodge, but I didn't leave the Philippines. I just got out of that situation. But it's a good thing that it happened to me when I first came here, because I learned a lot from that. I learned a heck of a lot from that. I learned the signs to look out for, the money, constantly asking for money. And before they asking for money, they will be very, very loving to you as well. And then it's kind of, can we do this? Can we do that? Should we buy this? Shall we buy that? Because I bought her a scooter as well. But did I let that, did I let that send me back to England? No, I didn't. Because I like the Philippines for the Philippines. Now, I think if I hadn't have had a hobby when I come here, because I went straight into fishing when I got here, because I was living in Dipolog and I was fishing on the boulevard and on the breakwater, and I got to know, Filipinos. I joined the angling club with, Kenny Young's angling club, who is now is a counsellor in Dipolog. So I got to know a lot of people, and I made a lot of friends. So I think if I hadn't have done that, I probably would have moved somewhere else out of the country. But because I'd already made friends, I stayed because of that. Now, I'm talking this because there is excellent good things about the Philippines, and many people talk about that. So why do I want to talk about the good things of the Philippines, which there are many, when you already know that, because there are lots of channels talking about that? I think what's important is to warn others and then let you make your mind up. Because even before I come here, one of my friends in England, his name was Jason, and he said to me, Stephen, are you sure this is not a scam? Because this girl was messaging me all the time, phoning me up, and if I wasn't there to pick the phone up, where are you? What's going on? acting concerned. Well, yeah, she was being concerned because I was her future meal ticket. I was her future person to be scammed again, you know. I was her money bag. And I said, no, of course not. She's not scamming me, because why would she be like this? Why would she be phoning me up all the time? Why would she be caring, saying, have you eaten? You know, make sure you eat, you know, make sure you go to bed early and sleep and make your, you know, health is wealth and all them, you know, sort of things. And we don't normally get that from Western women. You know, they will never really call you up all the time and say, have you eaten? They don't do that, really. So it's all new to you. So you fall into it. You just literally fall into it. And then you are on that high and thinking, this is the girl that I want to be with. And little do you know that this girl who you thought you was going to be with for the rest of your life and spend the money that you've saved and, you know, make a life together is simply not. Now, I'm not saying that this is all the time, because it's not all the time. There are some beautiful things of the Philippines, but I think that foreigners should be warned as well from the scams that do happen from the foreigners, that it has happened too. So by me talking about it, it gets it off of my chest. I know it was a long time ago, but I like to keep people informed of what can happen. Like I said, you know, when you marry a Filipina, you generally marry into the family, and you have to be prepared for that. Now, as you people know that's been following me, my wife had an aunt who used to keep asking for money all the time for, at first, was things that maybe she did need. But then it transpired and it progressed into things she didn't need, like washing machines and things like that, things that were not a necessity. And this is where I think what you have to do is set the boundaries from the very beginning, because if you don't set the boundaries from the very beginning and you start giving money, because we do, it's our mentality to do that. You know, we like to help people. We like to, you know, spread what we have, you know, the money. Let's just say, you know, they want some rice. Yes, of course you can have some rice. I'll buy you some rice, no problem. You know, the sin on the roof needs replacing. It's leaking. Yes, I can do that, no problem. I will. But then it grows. It gets bigger. It gets bigger because it's expected. And then when it's given to them on a continual basis, it's not appreciated most of the time. And what happens is, when you finally think, well, hold on a minute, you know, I'm spending quite a lot, you know, like a lot of money on their family, on her family. And when you kind of say no, this is when the shit hits the fan. Because they don't think of all of the times that you've done good for them. They just think of these times now that you're denying. So they can poison your Filipina against you. If your Filipina is gullible and easily led, which many are. Many listen to their families, to their mas and their das. Many of them do. And also, many, and this is like a misconception as well, where foreigners come to the Philippines these days thinking that they can get any Filipina. Well, I think maybe they could have done 10, 15, 20 years ago, but now many Filipinas are becoming more independent, and many have got good educations. So they don't need the likes of us. Many of them don't need the likes of me to support them, because they have their own finances and they've got good jobs in banks and places like that. So it's not as easy these days coming to the Philippines and finding the girl of your dreams. Yes, they are there, but so is the height of scamming. That hasn't lessened. That will just keep increasing, because we are gullible people. You know, we come here and we just get scammed, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, not until there is no more foreigners coming to the Philippines, which is never going to happen. But there are many good things of the Philippines. That's why I'm still here. After the things that have happened to me, he would have probably have done a lot of people in and thought, sod that, I'm going back to England, or I'm going back to wherever you know I've come from. But for me, I think I'm quite thick-skinned, and I don't like to admit defeat, and I wouldn't want to go back to the UK with my tail in between my legs and my friends saying, I told you she's a scammer from day one. I wouldn't let that happen to me. I wouldn't, and I didn't. And I continued through it, and I'm here now. I'm happily married now, as you know. I've got a beautiful son. I've got a lovely house. Got a nice dog. And I'm living my life. I wouldn't say I'm living the dream. I just think I'm living a life. I'm living a life where I want to be. When you first come here, you are living a dream. Because it's the dream that maybe you've thought about for a heck of a long time, you know, and that time is finally here. Hello, doggy. I don't know who you are. A little doggy here. Where is he? There. Hello, little fella. You're very thin. You're very thin. Obviously not taken care of, but you're friendly, little chap. Got to be careful of these street dogs as well, because many of them, in fact, I think most of them haven't been vaccinated against rabies. So you've got to watch that they don't snap at you, because you'll find yourself in a shitload of problems then. Having to go to the hospital getting rabies jabs and stuff. But yeah, getting back to living a dream. I think when you've been here for quite a number of years, you either fall into this way of life or you suffer living here. Like, I have an associate, I wouldn't say a friend, but I would say a person that I know who is always cussing off the Philippines. He lives here, but he just won't leave because he's got so much invested here. Now, for me, that doesn't make sense. If I didn't like where I was living, the country, then I would leave. I'd leave. It doesn't matter what I had invested here, assets or not. I would simply leave, because I wouldn't put myself through any unnecessary suffering if I had the means to get out of it. So I've got no sympathy for people who live somewhere not liking it when they have the means to get out of it, because it's your own fault, isn't it? You know, you are putting yourself through that problems, and you can easily get out of it. But for the people that can't, let's just say for the people that's been scammed, okay? The people that's been scammed here and scammed out of everything that they have, and it's gone terribly wrong. Well, it's gone terribly wrong in the first place because you've been scammed. And then you can't get out. These are the people that I feel for. And these are the people that I hope that these videos that I make, these videos of scamming and expecting families to pay for everything, that's how I wish that these videos can help people. Because we all know the good things of the Philippines, but for green people coming over here, they don't. I didn't. I was warned, but I didn't take no notice of it. So I hope that I can help people. Yes, you know, I can talk about the great things, but what's the point in that? You're going to experience the great things when you come here, but you don't want to be experiencing the bad things before you experience the good things. You want to experience the good things and continue with that. So just take note of, you know, what's happened to me and what's happened to countless other people as well. With land, you know, you will get untold people from your Filipina, from, oh, I've got a friend who's got land, I've got an uncle, I've got a cousin. That's a common thing here. Everyone's got land to sell, and it's normally to do with the family. Keep away from that. Keep away from all of these family deals that they say they can help you, and, you know, you can buy this and I will sell you this. Keep away from it. Really. If you're going to do it, go through legal channels, go through, you know, like an estate agent, real estate agent, and even then, don't take that for gospel. Get it checked, like I've said before. Check it, check it, check it, and check it again, just to make sure that that is above board and it is legitimate. Because you can easily be parted with a lot of money, and at the end of the day, someone could come along and say, who's that house on that land? And you say, it's mine, lovely, isn't it? I bought that, but that land was not that person's to sell. It was my land. That is a common thing. It happens. And it's not just to foreigners. Filipinos do it to their own kind as well. When you're living in a country where cash is king, you will be surprised at what lengths people will go to get that cash, to get cash from you or from anybody else. So be aware of everything. Be aware of your surroundings. You know, be aware of the people that you meet. be aware of the girl that you're with in the beginning, because yes, she's shown you love, she's shown you compassion, she's shown you everything that you haven't been shown for a heck of a long time, if ever. So you kind of see things through rosy glasses, and you don't see the real side of things. Now, look, people, it's happened to me, okay, and it's happened to countless other foreigners as well. Just come here, have a great time, but just be very careful with what you're doing. Be very careful. What I would suggest, and I've said this before, is when you are talking to a girl online in your country, before you come here, don't mention money. Don't mention how much you have. Don't mention savings. Don't mention, you want to come here and buy a house and invest or whatever you want to do. Don't say those things, because even if she's not a scammer, she's going to be happy that you're doing that. But then you won't be able to decide if she's a scammer or not. So the way that you will probably decide if she's a good person is if she's still there online after you've said, look, I'm just coming there with what I have, I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, I'm not successful. This is what you need to do. And if you do that, you will probably find that maybe half of the people that you've been talking to will disappear. But the ones that hang around, then you know that you're in with a good chance of you found a half-decent girl. Then you might come over here, because when you see people online and you talk and you're video calling, anyone can make out they are something. They can be a false person. Until you come here with your boots on the ground, as people say, and you get to know that girl, then you're never going to truly know. Please, people, don't let my videos put you off coming here, because it shouldn't. It's just a warning. It's just something to look out for. Come, but just be careful what you're doing, okay? Be careful what you're doing. I'm just getting it off of my chest because of what's happened to me. And I expect a lot of you might think, yeah, well, how can you be so stupid? Like, how can you fall into that? Well, very easy, people. And as well, you've got to think, many foreigners who come here, they've never built a house in their own country because they've never been able to do so. Here, you are able to do so because it's cheaper. Land is cheaper, depending on where you buy the land. So you can build your dream house here, something that you could never have done in your home country. So that leads you down that road of, I want to do it. I want to do it. But should you do it? That's the thing. Should you do it? Should you do it with the person that you're with? Okay? Again, do whatever you choose to do. I can't make anyone's mind up. I don't intend or to even try to make anyone's mind up. But what I do intend to do is try and put common sense into you, like I didn't have when I came. When I came here, I didn't have no common sense. I just thought, this is the girl for me. She's loving, she's great. What happened? I parted with a lot of money and come out of it with a lot of egg on my face. And if I can stop a couple of people, one person, from doing what I did, then this video, or the videos that I do, has been worth it. But some people might say, well, we should be talking about the good things of the Philippines. There's plenty of channels do that already. I think it's good to warn foreigners of the mischief that can happen here. And again, you've got no legs to stand on. You can't go around, you can't go to the police, or you can't go to a lawyer and say, look, I've built this house, with my money, and this girl's thrown me out. They'll say, yeah, and? Stupid. Even police. I know some PMP here. A couple of them are anglers, and one of them's got a boat, and I went out with him one day fishing. That was a few years ago. And even he said to me, Steve, it happens all the time. And you haven't got no right. Even what was happening here, this is from that PMP guy. He said, what was happening, there was these Filipino gangs that were bashing into foreigners driving cars and motorcycles and blaming them. So they were causing the accident and blaming the foreigners, so the foreigners would pay them money so they didn't press charges. How shitty is that? And what a dirty trick that is. It happens. That came from the horse's mouth, from a police officer, a PMP. He said that. So you've got to take all these things on board. Yes, the Philippines is a beautiful place if you like this way of living. A lot of people wouldn't step foot in the country, you know, because they've been here before, they didn't like it. So again, it's not for everybody. This country that I like living in is not for everybody. Some people come and think it's a shithole, you know. It's dirty in places, you know, the infrastructure is well below par. It's not like Thailand. Thailand's meant to be a much better place. Don't know, haven't been. But people say, oh, well, you know, go to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, these places, you know, and yes, it probably is better than here. But for me, I'm happy here. I'm contented. I like my life here. I don't have any hard feelings of what's happened to me, but I certainly wouldn't let it happen again. I mean, if anything that happens to this house, then that's it. I would never build another house again. As long as I live, it doesn't matter who I met. I would just rent. But I don't think it will. But we never know. We never know. So just take it on board, people. You know, just think. Everything in this country is trying to kill you. Just imagine that. Like the insects, the snakes, the poison spiders. Just think of that, and then you'd be cautious. You'd be cautious. That's a word of advice I can say. Just think that everything in this country is trying to kill you. Be cautious about it. Anyway, people, thanks for dropping by. And it's brightening up now. Excellent, thank goodness for that. I've got some pork in the oven, and I'm going to go back and check it because my wife's gone out and I'm left in charge of this dinner. I hope it's not burnt. Anyway, thank you very much. God bless you all, and take good care. Whatever you're doing, try and do it well. Bye bye, people. Thank you.